If you've ever tried looking for wallets, especially recently, you'll notice that there are tons of options out there, and there's no such thing as the best wallet. But I will tell you from my personal experience, after using probably close to 100 different models over the last 3 years, there are 10 that I really enjoyed using. And today we're going to talk about what 10 wallets I used the longest and enjoyed the most. We're going to start with the Field Wallet from Rite in the Rain. Now, this is part of their Monsoon series. Now, as that name implies, it's designed to be used in pretty, wild environments, including just being outdoors. And I think it does a very good job with that because it's made of TPU, kind of rubberized plastic. And this stuff is very strong. It doesn't really stretch. And it's like the perfect material for this because it's so resistant to abrasion and can be basically welded together. So that's basically what you have here. Instead of having stitches, you can actually weld those seams, which just makes it incredibly durable. So we have a space for our pen in the middle. We have 3 card slots that can be carrying up to 2 cards per slot. And then we have this opening over here, which you can use for bifolded cash, which I did use. And also I found you can also store additional cards underneath. So when all is said and done, you could probably get about 10 cards that are embossed in here. And that's a pretty good number. And on top of that, there's a little slot on the outside. Now this is designed to be used with their 3-pack of stapled notebooks, and it works very well with those, and it remains very flush. But what I also discovered is that there's this very inexpensive, like 75-cent or $1 notebook you can find at Office Depot, and that also fits perfectly on the outside. And instead of it being kind of flopping around, you can then take the elastic strap, come over the front, and then you are ready to rock and roll. So a great combination of features, and being less than $20, it is without question the best sub $20 wallet that I have experienced thus far. This is something I can highly recommend, and it's worth checking out. Now this next wallet might be the one that started it all, if you really believe in fate. The guy who runs this company out of, I want to say, Oregon, they really kicked me off on my entire everyday carry journey with some of the best customer service that I've ever had. And I found this wallet because of Accessorize Me, another YouTube channel here. And when I tried it, I fell in love with it. The fact that it was modular and it was so simple and compact, and yet even though it's only made of elastic stuck together, the quality of the elastic that's being used here really holds up over time. Now you can buy it in a setup that has a little key organizer. So if all you want to hold a couple of keys and your cards and cash, you could just get one thing. So that's what this is right here. They call it, I believe, the Solo. I forget exactly the name, but I'll put it right over here so you can see it. In addition, you can even get a couple of modular add-ons like this, which will allow it to hold a flashlight and a pen, and you can even get elastic attachments too that will further expand it. So a modular wallet system, very simple, made right here in America, not for any major price, but it really works, and he backs up his products. I love being able to promote this guy. If you go back to my Instagram, you'll see pictures of this wallet and all the crazy things I used it for over time, not just as a wallet, but as an organizer and a toolkit and you name it. I've done a lot of different things with this system. The anti-wallet from Anti-Gear Co. is certainly something worth looking at if you want to try something a little bit different. Or maybe you need something to go to a pool with and you don't want to carry both your keys and your wallet in something like a leather wallet. This is a great option because if you get this wet, it's not the end of the world. That is something to consider, and I can definitely recommend it. The Boulder Wallet from our company. This is as good as I hoped it would be. I had seen this on Instagram so often. I'm like, I don't know why it took so long to get around to testing it, but my goodness, is this such a great wallet organizer. And in fact, by the time I did, he had already created a larger version of that wallet, which will work also with the classic moleskin volant extra small, so that actually fits right in there. Now I currently have a bunch of business cards in this one, and I actually use this as like a mini toolkit when I went to Blade Show this year. So I had a little tool right there, and I had a couple extra things in here and a pen and so on. So you can use it a bunch of different ways, but I will say the main original is probably the one I would go with. You have slots on the inside for cards. You have a spot for quad folded cash right here. And you can also stick your easy to access cards out here in the front. Probably about 2 is the max that I would use, but I found it to be no more or less than what I needed most of the time. And in addition to it, I could carry my small Trayvax Cobra here, as well as a couple of extra tools. Now I've tried a couple of other things in these slots, and it will carry a lot of different things, but I found them to be very, very useful and very, very compact. So a nice little compact organizer that is also a nice minimalistic wallet as well. So definitely highly recommended. And I would also just check out all of his gear when you go look at Etsy, because there are many variations, many different styles. You might not like this particular combination, but this is not the only one he has. In fact, he's continued to expand and expand on his lineup. So highly recommended, great USA made product, and also not very expensive either. Now, by now you probably noticed I really like the combination of an organizer and a wallet at the same time. And Alpaka gear makes a really, really good one. In fact, it's damn near ideal for everything that I played with the wallet, because it's so compact and super durable. It really worked. With one small little change, it probably would have been perfect. It came down to one thing, and one thing only, that held it back from being the only wallet that I used for a really long time. I found, especially when it came to cash, not so much for cards, but for cash, that it was quite difficult to get it in and out, because the opening here is just a little bit too small to accommodate cash. Had it not been for that, I would have probably used it even longer than I did, because I really, really liked it. So this is a really inexpensive organizer that will hold up, and when you're not using it as a wallet, it can actually function as a kit and be used for a lot of other things. And that's the cool part about many of the wallets we're talking about. When they're not being used as a minimalistic just card and cash, you can then utilize it as something that gets stored into a bag. And so you're not just having it sit on the shelf. You actually have different ways to use it. So I can definitely recommend this one. Just being aware of its one downside, I was still able to use it with cash. It just wasn't as easy to get in and out as I would have liked. That's basically the only thing that that I can say about this that wasn't damn near perfect, because even the slots on the outside, they just held on so well to basically everything I used. The little coin pouch was just super useful for small components, and there's something to be said for having the security of a zipper. So I definitely like this one and can highly recommend. I can't tell you how many times I've tried carrying a hard material wallet and just always ended up back with something that was made in a softer material, whether it's fabric or leather. There's a few, however, that I did enjoy when I did carry them, and one of them is the Trayvax Original 2.0. So this is a really cool one because it has a little pry tool, which I like. It has a little bottle opener, a place to fold cash underneath, so you have a little money clip as well. And unlike most of these wallets that work like this can actually expand out to truly epic proportions. You could put 40 cards in here. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, like a truly gargantuan number of cards. You know, that word gargantuan? Don't get to use that a lot. And it's a fantastic design. It really is. It has a 65-year warranty. You can usually find these between $40 and $50. And if you order it on Trayvax website, they will also send you a free Summit wallet to try out if you like that as well. So definitely worth exploring. One of the very few that I enjoy. And I think there's something to be said for this paracord. Because it is a softer material, it kind of makes these edges less pronounced in your pocket. It's a funny thing that even though it's a hard wallet, it does in fact work really well. Now you notice that the paracord dead ends at the end here with a little metal tab that sticks underneath. which kind of locks everything in place, so it's very, very secure. But you can pop this out one-handed, and you can pretty much fan it for the most part one-handed as well. But unlike most wallets, this actually, you can find the card. Let's say I want this one. I could then grab that card, put it back in, and if I want to then identify another card again, I could just like pick the card I want, like right here, and then grab it. And that just, the way this thing works, it just works. And it doesn't have to be complicated. This thing is basically bulletproof. Actually, it might be bulletproof with the full stainless one. But anyway, I definitely can recommend the original 2.0. It's a very cool wallet, and you'll have people ask you about it because it's super unusual compared to the run-of-the-mill stuff you'll find out there. Speaking of surprises, I got this wallet, not because I wanted the wallet, but because I ordered the Groove Belt. They had a promotion where you get the wallet basically for free. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll give it a shot. I didn't realize that it would not only be the most fidgety of any of these mechanical wallets ever, it also would be the best one that I've ever tried. So I actually carried this for quite a bit and really enjoyed it. So it has a money clip that has a nice spring tension, and it does actually come back the way it should. So I like that. It's wide enough to accept cash, even bifolded, so you don't have to fold it a whole bunch. But that mechanism, I'm telling you, it's just so good. It's very, very secure. Even if I put one card inside, it doesn't come out. They've done a very good job with this mechanism. In fact, regardless of how many cards I seem to put in here, as long as I don't over jam it and make it too tight, it still fans them really nicely as well. And that sound, whew, so much fun. You are going to want to make sure that you look inside the box, because there's a little sticker on it that's rubberized, and that's going to be necessary to actually actuate it without slipping off. Now, I was able to do it without, but it's just not as easy as if you have that sticker. So keep that in mind, but I will definitely be able to recommend the Groove Life wallet. Not many out there to compete in the enjoyment factor or functionality. It just nails it. For whatever reason, I just have really, really liked this one, maybe more than anything else out there that has a similar functionality. Now, I will not apologize about being obsessed with leather wallets. I can guarantee I have a lot more leather wallets than any human being should be allowed to own. And maybe I just love the artistry. Maybe I love the different designs, and they're just very appealing to me. And one of the wallets that I carried a ton, and I didn't expect to love as much as I did, is the Bruce wallet from Get Set Gear. Now, this is what would at first glance appear to be a very simple kind of envelope style wallet. But what I found with it is, because of the way it's designed, allowing the cash to be used bifolded and then be tucked underneath this strap when you close it, it just lays so incredibly flat in your pocket with the two edges kind of shaping all the way out. You have your quick access cards on the outside. You have the rest of your cards on the inside. It's just such a convenient wallet, and I can highly, highly recommend checking one out. They're not expensive either, so it's a very good design. And they even went ahead and maybe like meshed the width of this strap to kind of make everything go even smoother. The quality, just everything that they've done with the Bruce wallet, I can highly, highly recommend it. So this one, I carried a ton. I enjoyed it. I would go back to it. I probably will still carry it from time to time. Cannot say enough. Just executed flawlessly, and will take a surprising number of cards and cash. So I can definitely recommend it. Worth checking out. Now, my experience with both organizers and having them be leather is that that's usually not a great combination. I have actually a bunch in my collection that are both organizers and leather wallets, but they don't always work, because what happens is that the items themselves push so hard against the cards, you can then not get them out. But for whatever reason, the Bandit 2.0 from Tale of Knives works incredibly well. So I can store a bunch of cash underneath the strap in front, and I found I could fit at least 8 cards inside this center function, the center area, while still getting access to 2 implements on the outside. Now this is pretty much designed for a small pen, but it's actually wide enough to accommodate something like this little lever gear and a bunch of other items that I've been able to fit in there as well. So I really like that one, and I carry with it the Knipex 100 Cobra. As you can see, it is really nicely formed to that plier. It sticks out just enough to get easy access, and it's a great system. Not much more to say. It's an incredibly well-built wallet. Just keep in mind that they are not inexpensive. These are all hand-stitched, handmade here in the USA with a fantastic warranty. And if you're looking for something a little bit different and still yet very compact, check out the Bandit. I got to know a lot of people on Instagram, and one of them runs a company called Redeem Creations. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, he knows my tell. He knows when I can't resist. And of course, he always tells me when he has some of this incredible red leather in, because my goodness, I cannot tell you, it does not do the wallet justice. Seeing it in person, this leather is off the hook. And he tends to find some of the best leather out there to make his wallets out of, which he does by hand. This is called the Slider 2.0. And just like with the Bruce, which has quick access to cards here, like this one does here, it also has spots for cards on the opposite side and bifolded cache, kind of similar to how it's achieved with the Bruce, except that it doesn't have a flap. If you're just looking for a wallet that does cache really well and cards, but isn't going to bulk up a lot, this would be a good choice. I will go back to this from time to time. I never regret carrying it. It is such a joy. And I know that this thing will last and last and last and probably last my whole life if I take care of it. So as long as you treat the leather every once in a while, you will definitely be able to utilize this and maybe even pass it down, because that's the quality of work that they do over at Redeem Creations. So I can highly recommend pretty much everything he makes, but definitely the Slider 2.0. And last, but certainly not least, this is probably my most carried basic, quote unquote basic, leather wallet that I have carried. I've talked about it, I don't know how many videos I've introduced this wallet, but it just nails it. It nails it on price. It nails it on quality. It's made in America. The base model is less than $50, around $45 for the Murphy. And you can go up to kind of the sky's the limit as far as materials, including my absolute favorite leather in all of humanity, the Meta Katharina leather. My goodness, this is legitimately the most amazing thing ever. If you combined, oh, the smell is incredible, bourbon, bonfire, and brotherhood, and just jammed it into a tanning process for leather, that's what you get with Meta Katharina. It is like nothing I have ever seen. And although that's not about the design, I will say if you're willing to spend a little bit more and take into the fact that it is a little bit of a thicker leather, so it certainly will last longer too, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend. Ask him for this. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Anyway, the Murphy. Not only does it have the quick access to cards, which you saw with both the Slider as well as the Bruce wallet, and it's something that I really enjoy. It has a spot for cash that can be put in bifolded, and because of the way it's set up, there's plenty of space. In fact, this has a lot more space in it than the Bruce because it's not stitched on the edges. It allows it to expand further and actually carry more cards than those other wallets can as well. So much so that I actually carry this a lot of times with both a notebook and a pen. Let me show you that real quick. Okay, so the way you store things in this, and I don't have enough cash in to really show how much cash you can fit in, but believe me when I say it's a lot. I'm actually gonna take all of these cards except for 2, and I'm gonna stick it in the slot. And believe me when I say there's a lot more space left, tons and tons. I could then use one of these OTG Rite in the Rain notebooks, which is basically the size of a credit card. And you'll notice, look at all this extra space here on the right side. Then I can take this small mini expands pen and stick it in there. It'll actually fit a couple of other pens as well. And then take the rest of the cards, stick it on the back. This thing has plenty of space left, like tons. You could fit 10 bills in here without any issue whatsoever. And all of that will still get tucked in underneath this little slot, even with the cash. And then it will kind of keep it in a nice closed setup. In fact, because of the way it folds, it actually can hold a couple of pieces of change, like little coins, if you're careful when you open it. So if you wanted to, you could even throw a couple of loose items in there. And I've done that in the past. Not necessarily something I do all the time, but this makes the wallet even more versatile. So as long as you're getting it in Meta Katharina, I could tell you it's going to be one of your absolute favorite wallets. It's going to do so much and do it so well. The Murphy from Patriot Leather Goods, it is a fantastic piece. He's done a wonderful job. And it's just really nice to promote someone who does such incredible work. And there you have it, 10 wallets that I have just enjoyed carrying for different reasons, and I can highly, highly recommend. If there's a wallet out there that you think I should check out that kind of falls in the same line of either being really, really efficient or very versatile in how you use it, let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.